Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. And in this video, we're going back to our roots, talking about a very much an educational video when it comes to the college students and the mistakes that they are making. But this video is not like any general video that we're talking about, like the mistakes, or you will see on YouTube that the mistakes that college students are making within the first year, within the second year, or etc. etc. What is really happening is that I'm going to talk about something that I've experienced heavily, something that I've seen people are really falling for, especially when they are starting their education in community college or in a university, pretty much after high school we're talking about. And the reason for that, what I'm trying to get at, is that basically freedom. Because out of high school, now we have the ability to choose our own classes, to choose our major, to choose what times and what days we want to attend those classes. And a lot of freedom has been just like all of a sudden dropped on our hand to kind of choose from, to see, hey, I'm capable enough, I'm educated enough, I'm mature enough to make those decisions. And that's exactly where those two factors or those two problems that I see, or those two holes, we should say, I see that students kind of fall into. And if you're parents watching this, I hope you kind of talk to your kids about it, because it is something that should be talked about. It is something that, as a parent, as somebody who has a little bit more experience or have experienced these, uncertainties, these little things that comes into our mind and trying to trick us, trying to get us away from, focusing on that main goal, and be like, I understand you. I've also been in that situation. But the reality is that this is how you need to pursue it. And let's talk about those two groups that basically you clicked on this video to kind of hear about them, and those two groups that make this mistake. And then let's talk about what is the main roots of that, the whole problem. All right, so something that we said is causing it is this freedom that all of a sudden is dumped on students. But then that freedom caused students to kind of go after these things that they've always wanted in high school. But they had those limitations. They had to be in class at 8:15 a.m. They had to wake up earlier in order to get themselves to school. And they didn't have much of a choice because the school ended at 2 something, But now they have the ability, especially after COVID, to say that, hey, I can handle all of my classes, especially if they're taking a semester or two in community college or even in college. I can handle all of my classes online. It's nothing important. I've already done it. Not understanding that maybe those classes that they've handled very well in the previous semesters, they were GE, general educational classes, that you most likely will have taken those in high school. These are not specifically classes that are going to determine that you will be qualified to be that person with that major or be part of that group, part of that society. What I'm trying to say is that some colleges, they have these requirements in order for the students to be allowed to study certain majors or say that they are this major, like the business when it comes to UC Berkeley, because it has such a great reputation when it comes to it. So you need to hold on to certain GPA, take in certain classes, basically write a dissertation or something like that to kind of say that, hey, look, I'm interested, I want to be part of that. And they have to choose you. So what I'm trying to say is that maybe they were able to handle those less important classes, less specific or essential classes in the semesters before, but that doesn't mean all the classes, specifically when it comes to their specific major, is going to be as easy. And they're going to make that determination. They're going to say that, hey, I can handle this because I did in the last semester. Let me pick up more hours at work. Let me pick up those extra shifts that nobody else wanted. because I'm the man of my words. I know that I have that discipline to do when I say something is possible or when I put something in my planner, right? And then what's going to happen is that majority of these courses, they actually require you to put that amount of time that in the beginning of the class the professor is telling you to. However, because of the freedom that they have, because they're not babysitting you like they did in high school or even lower grades, with all those little quizzes, with all those in-class questions and etc., etc., you have the ability to push the whole thing back until before your exam day. And then be the man of your word and pull an all-nighter because you're so smart and just throw up everything that you've studied the next day perfectly on your paper and get that A. However, in majority of cases, it can't be done. And I've seen it on my friends. Those very talented, those very educated, those smart people, individuals, that when they sat next to me in class, when it comes to being present in class, they had nothing less than me. Even in certain scenarios, they even accelerated, meaning they put me in their back pocket. Got that class or that whatever going on that specific day perfectly, even better than me. That me questioning certain things was just funny to them. Hey, professor, what do you mean exactly by this? But then when it came to delivering those homeworks, delivering those or getting prepared for those quizzes, they lacked. They lacked the preparation. They lacked putting in the work ahead of time, hitting up the teacher with their questions, and now asking for the things that they should know in class. Get the professor's attention, get their trust that this student really wants that A, and not have or resolve those questions that they had and be able to perform their best in quizzes, in homeworks, and in anything else. Right? And what's going to happen is that in their head, in humans' mind, they're going to slowly adjust to this mindset that it's okay. I still have that one shot, one of my lowest grades are going to be dropped. Or something significant happened, like the whole class doesn't do so well in that quiz, in that test, that the teacher has to drop that grade. And they're like, you see me? You see, I got this. It wasn't just me, it was everybody else. But then it comes towards the end of the semester. And somebody like me, who, yes, I had to work too when I was in community college. So I'm not saying that, just be that privileged kid, or comparing that privileged one with the non-privileged one that say, hey, you shouldn't work when you're in college, because I did. Yes, I was working full-time during the 4 years of university. But then I made sure that I knew what was my priority. That I didn't take advantage of all those freedoms for nothing. And most importantly, that I delayed gratification. I didn't need to drive that Mercedes CLA that has the same body as S-Class nowadays to school. And pay that $500, that $700, that $1,000 a month payment. That extra insurance. That extra phone payment in order to have the best iPhone in my hand. Yes. I said no to them. Yeah, I wasn't the cool kid. I had a certain set of 4 or 5 shirts or 2 pants, and I made sure to mix them up in a way that it was working. Right? And my friend who didn't, my friend who had that perfect hat, that Gucci hat, that sunglasses, Cartier sunglasses, and all of that. That guy who got whatever was said in class much better than me and was ahead of me in class. But when it came to homeworks, He turned them in late. He turned them in the last minute, and he didn't know how to answer question number 9 because he didn't work on it prior, and he didn't show up to office hours to ask those questions and get that perfect score for that homework. He ended up with a B, and I ended up with an A. And you know what happened? Next semester, all of a sudden, this was acceptable to him. You see what I mean? From an A student, being smart, being everything that he was, just like me, now he dropped down. It's okay to receive a B. It's okay not to be the best. But I still have that cool Prada backpack on my back. You know, I have this nice, whatever he was wearing. Right? And the second group of people that I've seen got the hit the most was pretty much the same thing, but for a person that they thought they're in love with. Yeah, there was this girl that was sitting next to me. And actually, I can say the exact same thing for a guy that ended up sitting next to me in my whatever class. I don't want to say it. Okay, to kind of blow it off if they're in future watching this video or now watching this video. And I say in future, maybe this channel blows up because I really trying to help one another and help out those unprivileged students that are trying to become somebody with these videos, with my experiences. And maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but at least I have done my part. So if you can like, share, and subscribe to this channel, I will appreciate it. But yeah, so they sat right next to me. Let's talk about the guy one, because the girl one is pretty much the same story. And he would go and visit Chicago. He falls in love with a girl that was a roommate of his cousin. Comes back here, we're attending same community college, extremely smart. And he actually wanted A. Like, he would show up into Starbucks on weekends, and we've studied. But then, all of his mind was with that girl. And that's okay. You know, that's what love is. That's what passion is about. But what happened was that he believed in it too much. He sacrificed his position. And the same exact thing happened with the girl too. Alright, so I'm just not mentioning that story. I'm saying he, but just know it's the same thing. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the semester, he just left everything and went to Chicago to be with her. And that girl, and he was like telling me, hey, it's okay. There's a community college there. I'll start attending their classes. And it's only a semester, you know. That kid never finished his education. The guy, the girl. They both didn't. And I followed him. And you know what was so funny? He had the exact same GPA as me. And he was 1 semester or 2 semesters from transferring. So the chances of him actually getting into UC Berkeley was very high, just like me. And the last time I checked on him, like 2 years ago, he still has not finished his education. We're not even talking about the bachelor's degree. Alright, so if we can talk about a root cause of all of this, it's delayed gratification. And it's believing that we have a lot more ahead of us, a lot more that we can experience and things can change in life. So we don't have to just fall for whatever we see right now or whatever we want right now or whatever we feel right now, because that can change. We are still very young and there is a lot of games that when it comes to the streets, that when it comes to people in general, try to pull on you. And even if it's not people, It is the certain things, these certain subjects, this certain, social media mentality that are surrounding us that kind of try to pull you, your kid, you as a student away from those bigger subjects, from those delay gratification, from dealing and being comfortable with what you have. And I don't think comfortable is the right word, because I never was comfortable in my shoes, not always having the best thing, not always having the perfect picture. And maybe that's the reason I've never had a girlfriend in college, because I felt like there was a lot more that I had to achieve. And yeah, but I knew what was my priority, and I believed in it, and I ignored everything else or delayed it. So that's it. I hope this video was helpful. If you're a parent watching this, if you're a student watching this, and until the next video, peace. Please subscribe and like this video. Thank you.